In the tennis, it was the last major of the year, the US Open. We had two teenagers playing the US Open women's final, which was won by Raducanu. And it was the first time a qualifier has gone through the whole tournament without dropping a set and winning the US Open. In the men's side of the draw, we had Novak Djokovic lose to Medvedev in straight sets, which was the upset of the tournament, which stopped Djokovic from being able to win his calendar slam, which if he would have won the US Open final, would have been the first time since Federer. In the women's doubles, Stosur and Zhang won their match. And in the wheelchair tennis, you had Dylan Alcott complete his golden slam for winning the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, the Olympics, and the US Open. First time ever done by an athlete in history. No other athlete has done it. Basketball over the weekend, Lauren Jackson was inducted into the Hall of Fame due to her great career she had in basketball in the US for the Opals and back here in Australia. Also, Ben Simmons is in the NBA has threatened not to turn up to pre-season camp because he wants out of the Philadelphia 76ers now due to all the criticism from his performances in the finals last year. In the NFL this weekend, we had the first round of the 2021 season, which was in conjunction with the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. We had 4 Australians play in the NFL this weekend. The main player that everyone was looking out for was Jordan Mailata, who just signed an $80 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, and hopefully he does really well and shows everyone what the Aussies are made of. In the baseball this week, the big one was the New York Yankees and the Mets. At the time of the 2011 attacks, these two teams were actually meant to play a game at Yankees Stadium at 9:30 in the morning when the first tower was hit. So every game had a ceremony to commemorate it, but the big one was in New York. In car racing this week, we had Daniel Ricciardo win the Italian Grand Prix, his first win since Monaco in 2018, and he done his traditional shoey after winning the race. Hopefully, there's many more wins for him to come in the future. All the European soccer started back due to the international break and the World Cup qualifiers finishing. We had Cristiano Ronaldo make his second debut for Man United this weekend. And as Ronaldo does, he scored a double on the debut. Just in his first week at Man United, he has sold over $60 million worth of shirts. The rest of the top 6, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, Tottenham, all won their games as well. In the NRL this week, it was the first week of the finals. We had 4 games played. Manly lost the first game to Melbourne 40-12, which was upsetting to watch. The second and third games were on Saturday, which was Titans-Roosters, and the Roosters won with about 20 seconds to go. On Saturday night, the Panthers played the Rabbitohs, and the Rabbitohs upset the Panthers, who were expected to go and win and go through the preliminary finals. And on Sunday, the Newcastle Knights lost to Parramatta due to a controversial penalty try given in the last 5 minutes. With Penrith losing on Saturday night, that means it puts Penrith on the same side as the Melbourne Storm, which will mean they cannot play a replay of last year's grand final. They'll be playing in the preliminary final to make the grand final. The AFL this week, it was a preliminary final weekend. We had Melbourne absolutely smashed Geelong in Optus Stadium in Perth to book themselves for their first grand final in 54 years. And Port Adelaide played at Adelaide Oval in front of their home crowd and got absolutely smashed by the Western Bulldogs, who were the outright underdogs, and they will play in their fourth grand final ever as a club. Rugby Union, the All Blacks beat Argentina by 39 points, and the Wallabies won after the siren from a Quade Cooper penalty goal, which was his first game in 3 years for the Wallabies. In the cricket, over the weekend, the fifth test between India and England was supposed to go ahead, which it hasn't, because 6 players in the India test team tested positive to COVID, which meant they weren't allowed they weren't able to put a full team onto the pitch. In the bad books this week is the NRL referees and the bunker. In the first week of the NRL finals, they had absolute shockers in all 4 games. The inconsistency of the referees penalising players for crusher tackles when they're not crusher tackles, giving penalty tries to certain teams and not giving them to other teams when it was the exact same circumstances the try should have been awarded. The bunker and the referees, if they don't watch it, they're going to screw the NRL final series this year, because they're so inconsistent. And I hate to say it, but if they keep going the way they are, they're going to have fans knocking down their doors trying to get answers from them. Make sure you go on and hit like, and next week come back for more of the Bear Man's Rant.